Good morning and welcome. Being uncommon, we are part of 1.4 billion people in India. I thought we were all common, being the part of this big community. We are talking about being uncommon. Let's try and examine why. We're trying to look at some people here to see whether they were also common like you and me, and then really what happened. I'm sure all of you know this gentleman, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was the father of the Constitution. But just to let you know, if some of us are not aware, he was the 14th child of his parents. He was the only person who completed schooling and then went on to do other things. Okay, we'll come back to his story a little later. I'm sure all of us take pride in this gentleman who's been a real role model for all of us. He was the 5th child of his parents. He was selling newspapers to help his parents to take care of his family. And this living lady is a model for all of us. She was born in Lucknow. She was a middle-class family, a lot of aspirations. She got a job in CISF. It's an industrial security force. She was going to Delhi for that. A few goons in the train tried to rob her. Because she resisted it, she was thrown out of the train by them. And because of that, her leg got amputated. Are they common or uncommon? What is common to all of them and you and me? Like all of us, they were born obscure, humble, lack of endowments. We always look at somebody else and say, oh, I wish I was like them. All of us, at some point of the time, felt that, look here, I am lesser than somebody else. But if these people were common like us, do we have a chance? Let's see what options we have. What choice did the 3 people make? Okay, we just spoke of them. The first gentleman said, life should be great than long. Life should be great than being long. The second gentleman said, dream is not what you see while sleeping. Dream is not what you see while sleeping, but dream is what keeps you awake. The third person said, the disabled ones are whose thoughts are wounded. Only the ones who give up are wounded. Let us understand how they made this choice. They made this choice at some point in their life, going through all the experiences that they had. They were born in obscure places, but somewhere they made a choice of saying that, look here, am I going to be anybody or am I going to be somebody? Before they make this choice and the mental process that they go through, let's try and understand what is our understanding and their understanding of success. All of us, thanks to the corporate world, understand the word CTC. We try and evaluate ourselves, our own success by saying, what is the CTC I'm getting? Every time you go to a new company, you try and get something more, try and get a better designation, try and get a position, better position, and then try and see that, yes, am I really making progress? For us, the mental paradigm, or for anybody who thinks that, look here, I have to be somebody else, is to ensure that I get a better salary, I better get a better position, and that's what it is. But life is not only about CTC. Life has got a much bigger way of compensating. If I have a great family, if I have got great health, if I have got a great set of friends that itself is life's way of compensating. You go to the courts, you go to the hospitals only to understand how well you are in life, how much is the real wealth that you possess. Do we want to continue in the rat race, looking for status and money alone? Will my decisions today make me glad in the last half an hour of my life is a question one of my close friends, Kalpana Sampath, used to always raise. Are we fully content internally? Are we at peace with ourselves? Do you feel anything is missing? Then you got to really think for yourself, saying that, look here, do I want to be anybody, or is there a possibility of being somebody else? What is the somebody paradigm? What really transpired to make these people whom we saw, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. Abdul Kalam, and Arunima Sinha, from anybody like you and me to, if we believe that they've become somebody, what really made them somebody? It is their own mental paradigm as to what they felt was important. Okay? Did they evaluate their lives in terms of grabbing, hoarding the wealth, or sucking as many resources that we have got to say that, yes, I need all these props, I've got $1 billion with me, I've got multiples of $1 billion. Would they look at their lives? Did they evaluate their lives? What was their mental paradigm in evaluating their own successes? Or by contributing to enhancing or making the environment, the world, a better place and making a difference to whoever is around them. We don't really have to become a president of the country. Even if we are able to make a small difference in our lives, they felt that, look here, that was the paradigm in which they operated. Balance is necessary. I'm not saying that money is not important. I keep on saying that every end of the month, even my wife tries to look at what is the bank balance at the end of the month. It's important. But the question is, are we living for that? Are we born only to make money, or is there a larger purpose in life? Is money a means for a larger end? That is the choice that they made. What was their paradigm? All of us are very different. Each of us, if you see 1.4, they've got 8 billion people in this world. Each of us are very, very different in our own way, but we still feel that we are common. What is the paradigm of the three people that we spoke? Their perception was that if I came to this pass, okay, if I have to keep selling newspapers and making my life like this, or Dr. Ambedkar, he was a Dalit. For him to get water in the school, he had to sit in a different classroom or in a different place without being with the regular students. If he needed water, he could not go to the tap and take water. He had to have a peon who would pour the water and then he would take it. This lady, her leg had to be amputated. They asked themselves the question, if I have come to this pass, there must be a reason. There is a purpose that I need to deliver. That's the way they looked at it. They felt, Dr. Ambedkar felt that I had to end the slavery and get freedom. Dr. Kalam said, I want everybody to dream big. The last person says, I will not allow oppression to continue and reach my goal. She wanted to be a model for all of us, saying that, yes, I will not tolerate the oppression. Being thrown out from the train, I will do something to make them understand that, look here, I have not given up. I am not mentally wounded, I am only physically wounded. Nothing happens, my dear friends, accidentally in this universe. Our past has brought us here. All of us are here because whatever we have done in the past, we are very, very fortunate to be a part of this team, being present here. You and I are today because of what we have done in the past. Imagine there is nobody among the 8 billion people in the universe today that is similar to you and me. We are born to be uncommon. Let's try and see what we need to do if we are born to be uncommon. It doesn't necessarily that it is not important that everybody has to go through adversary situations to understand and identify the reasons as to why they've come on this earth. Each of us have our own personal quota of treasures that we call as khajana. Family is a khajana. I've got a vehicle, I've got education. We are all here. This is what is the percentage of population who have got this khajana here. Day in and day out, we consume the resources of the universe. We take in, I think the COVID has taught us these lessons. Right from air, water, space, food, comfort, all these are luxuries. Only when you don't have it, you realize the value of it. Most of us think we are entitled because of our hard work. But friends, just look at the people in Ethiopia. There are so many people. If you think that, look here, you have so many things, or you don't have so many things, you can just imagine the number of people who don't have even that. And then you'll realize how each of us are really blessed. What about the health, the education, the exposure that each of us have got? I think it is important for us to look at that and then see what is the rent that I am paying for living and consuming all this on a day-to-day basis. Each of us have to understand the difference between what is success and what is happiness. Success is all external. Happiness is internal. I could have the maximum amount of degrees, I could have all the positions in the organization, but if my family is not okay, if my health is not okay, then I realize that, look here, all this money is not going to buy me happiness, which is internal. So one needs to understand what is our own paradigm of success and what is our own paradigm of happiness. Fulfilling purpose, in my view, gives happiness. We need to discover it. It is within us. It takes time to ponder. Every day I keep wondering, what am I here for? What am I? There are so many people who have come and gone. In my own school, in my own college, in my own workplaces, there are so many people who have come and gone. Why am I here? What excites me the most? To identify your own purposes. What excites me most? What gives me maximum satisfaction in the day? What ensures that I get peaceful sleep at night? It is not always, it's required, some luxuries are required, but what gives us a sense of fulfillment is something that we need to see. What makes us feel that, yes, we have made a difference to being around this universe? What gives us joy? What gives us satisfaction of a day being spent worthwhile? Would my family, would my world, would my office place, would my workplace be any different without me? Some of these questions, these are the tools which help us to understand or identify our own purposes in life. We have to try and see how we are going to use these tools to make our lives more meaningful. Once you have the purpose in mind, you have to try and see how you can use all your unique endowments. You have to live your purpose little by little. Each of us have got, as Dr. Stephen Covey says, we've got our IQs. We've got a spiritual IQ, we've got our intelligence, we've got our emotional intelligence, we've got our knowledge. More than everything else, he says we have got the freedom of choice to decide whether we want to be anybody or we want to be somebody. And that's the choice each of us have to make. And having made the choice, I think each of us have to live our purpose every day, little by little, and you will get closer to your final goal. Let's not give up. Let us not accept status quo. All the people have gone through similar situations. We were also talking about Mahatma Gandhi. He was also thrown out of a train in South Africa, but he chose not to accept that. And he said that let's make a difference. How can I make a difference? Let us not accept status quo. Let us not get suppressed from what we really ought to become. I think another important thing is that we need to understand what is our own identity. The moment you talk of Mahatma Gandhi, the moment you talk of Tatas, each of understands that Mahatma Gandhi lived for freedom. And what was his values? Even a schoolboy would say that yes, he's talking about ahimsa. He's talking about truth along with freedom. And every time there is a violence somewhere in the country, he would ensure that he goes on fast till the time the entire violence comes to a stop. So that is a promise that Mahatma Gandhi made, and he followed up in action. Similarly, Tatas, we are sure that you are going to get value for your money and they are not going to cheat you. Tomorrow, if somebody were to ask you, or even if today somebody were to ask you, Mr. Udupa, if you were to ask somebody else, what does Mr. Udupa represent? What is my purpose? And how do I tend to achieve that? If I keep this in mind, I'm sure we would make a difference in every action that we are doing. It is important that we are able to communicate and make a difference in every action that we do, whether it is an email or it's a communication or even talking to people, relationships with people. We need to try and see what is the flavor that we bring into it. And the more and more that you are able to bring that, that will typify your identity, that will help you to become smarter, better, more effective individual than what you would otherwise be. What is my life purpose and what is my value? I think it's important for each of us to understand that. As Mahatria said, I need to understand today, I need to make a choice. It is not that you make a choice when you are at my age, then it's too late. We are all going through this process of journey. We need to be sure, we need to start thinking about some of these things, that what do I want to become? Will I just become a part of statistics in this country, or will I be something else? There are 1 crore people who die in India every year. Am I only going to add to that number, or will they say that, yes, we had a Savitri Bai Phule here, I was like them, or we had a Srinivas Ramanujam, or we also have Helen Keller, who was visually as well as hearing impaired, but she became the biggest disabled champion in the United States. Would you like the next generation to add your photograph to this? Is something that you need to think of and try and see, make a decision now whether I want to be anybody or do I want to be somebody. Do I want to create a road where there is no path, or do I want to follow the path which everybody else has gone through? Do I want to create footprints on the sands of time? Is something that I need to decide today. Each of us need to answer these questions for ourselves. Nobody is going to answer that for all of us. Wish you all the very best in your journey. And I'm sure each of us is going to be the unique individual that we are born to be and serve the purpose that we are meant to be on this earth. Thank you very much.